Gloria Meade. I'm looking at all those names. Gloria Meade.
Margarita Meade is too good too.
Most of you probably know Gloria from her activities here in Big Bear, but we're going to go back and start and have her tell a little bit about her background before coming to Big Bear. And some of you may know some of the Rose Parade activities, and we're going to get into that and show you some fascinating pictures. But Gloria, let's go back and talk a little bit about your upbringing. Where were you born and raised? And tell us a little bit about your mother and father. And did you have brothers and sisters? Can we start there, please?
You betcha. I was born and raised in Los Angeles in 1935. My mother was born and raised in Mexico, and my father was born and raised in Michigan. His parents were from Ireland. So I've got a lot of Irish and Spanish in me. And I was born in Los Angeles, and we moved to Monterey Park in 1941. And that was just before the war, during the war. And went to Monterey Vista School, and then Richard Garvey Junior High School and Mark Keppel High School. And got married in 1951 and moved to Rosemead. My husband and I bought our home in Rosemead. But I have had two brothers. My one brother passed away a few years ago, and two sisters. So big family. But
and Gloria shared with me you didn't have a particularly normal high school experience. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that happened and when you finally got your high school diploma? Can we talk about that, please?
Yes, because after I got married in August of 1951, I went back to school in September, and I took my English class, my science class, and a couple of other classes. And by November, I was not interested in working because I wanted to help my husband raise money for a home instead of renting. So I quit school, and after raising 4 kids, I decided I want to go back to high school and get my diploma. Because of all 5 of my mother's kids, not one of them graduated. They all quit and went to work. So I did go back to Rosemead Adult Education, and I took my history class and my science class and another class, and it was phenomenal. I couldn't get over being the first one in my whole family to graduate from Rosemead Adult Education School. So that was
somebody
amazing.
told me that you were the valedictorian of that
Yes,
class.
yes, I was.
How cool is that?
Oh, it was an amazing honor because there were 3 high schools students that went there, one from El Monte, one from San Gabriel, and one from Rosemead. And I represented Rosemead. They asked me to be the valedictorian for Rosemead, and there were 2 other valedictorians for the other 2 schools. But that was a tremendous honor. So
did you get up and give the big valedictorian speech?
Yes, and I was very nervous. And before I did that, once I was selected, I talked to my class teacher there in, oh my gosh, my mind was like a belly wheel right now, and my English class. And he said, Gloria, get up and talk to the class, and they'll give you some good information on what you should and shouldn't do. And I did. And you know what they told me? Don't look at people in the eyes when you're speaking to them. Look above their foreheads, and you won't be so nervous. And that really helped me.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you finally got your high school diploma, Gloria?
Oh, golly. Oh, my gosh, because I got married when I was 16, probably close to 20.
So about 20.
Yeah.
So now you have your high school diploma. You got 4 kids. Tell me about what happens next in your life.
Well, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was very involved with the kids, the boys with Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, and the girls with Brownies and the Girl Scouts all those years, and I loved it. And they asked me to please help at the school district to be a teacher's aide and help. And I did the EH class, educationally handicapped, for about 4 years, and I helped the teacher. Back then, you could take the kids out of the classroom on a 1-to-1, and they learned so fast. It was wonderful. And I was a noon duty teacher, and I had a whistle. I still have it. And it was just an amazing experience to help with the school district. And I was also a substitute secretary for the school district. They would hire me if one of the teachers in the 4 schools there in Rosemead was sick or something. So I got to do that, but it was amazing.
So Gloria, let's talk about how you ended up here in Big Bear. Can you talk through how that happened, and then we'll go and explore this Rose Parade thing.
Absolutely. One of my husband's well, going back a bit, raising 4 kids in the San Gabriel Valley, we never came to Big Bear. We went to Mount Baldy and Mount Wilson. And one of my husband's co-workers, he and his wife had a place up here that they would come on weekends and vacations, and invited us to come up and have lunch. And they lived in the mobile home park, Whispering Pines on Highway 38. Driving up, we fell in love with Big Bear. We came back up the next 3 weekends and bought a mobile home in the mobile home park there with Spring Pines, and it's just phenomenal.
And you bought that mobile home park in what year?
1981.
And you're still in that same mobile home
Yep.
today, is that
Yep.
correct?
And when I turned 65, I moved up full time in 2000.
My goodness, that's got to be a world record for certainly that mobile home park, I would think, huh?
Oh, I love it. And I got to meet Tom and Ruth Core, our historian from Big Bear. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Let's deal with this Rose Parade thing. How in the world I want to tell you a side story. Gloria used to donate for fundraisers a package of Rose Parade things where you'd get a seat in the bleachers and she'd show you around. And Sue and I were fortunate enough and let me tell you, when you go around with Gloria, you get to go anywhere you want to go. Everybody knows her and nobody says no to her. And let's go back and tell us how that whole thing started, Gloria.
You bet. Well, I was working for the school district and I got a phone call in June from one of the ladies that we went to school together, and she was working at the Tournament of Roses. And she said, Gloria, would you please come up here to the Wrigley Mansion? I'd like to give you a tour and then we can go to lunch. And I said, oh, I'd love to. I'd never been there. Went up there, and while we were sitting there at lunch, she said that one of the ladies who deals with the equestrians in correspondence, once they're selected, she was pregnant and she was going to be leaving in September, and the baby was due in November, and she would come back in February. And she said, we would like to have you be one of the person to take her place. Oh my gosh, what an honor. I said, okay. So I started there in September of 78, and I was there for the 79 Rose Parade. And it was phenomenal. And when February came, I had all my little personal stuff packed away and ready to go. And the young lady came in, she wanted shorter hours and more money. And they said no. And they came back to my office and said, Gloria, would you please consider staying on? I said, okay. So that's how it all started.
You started by doing what?
I was in charge of all the correspondence with the equestrians, and we had a film library back then, and people could rent the big reels of films of the parade, and it was up to me to check them out and check them in when they brought them back.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just a temporary thing that I did at that time.
And then you became the office manager, is that correct?
Yes. Once the young lady did not want to, they didn't want her to come back, I became the office manager.
Wow,
and
good for you.
3 years later, I was elevated to the assistant to the executive director.
Wow. So Tori, we've got some pictures. Let's show some pictures of Gloria's Rose Parade experience. She can talk a little bit about these.
Okay, that's the staff, and that's back in 1979. I'd been there for a year, and there was 8 of them, and I'd hired 2 more to answer the phones at the front desk during the busy season. They now have 33 employees at the tournament.
Where's Gloria in this picture?
Next to the gentleman with the bald head.
Right.
He was our manager.
Okay. Go ahead, Tori. There you go.
And while I was working at the tournament, when they would start building the floats, they would have me go out and check along with the committee to see how the floats were coming. And this was Honda's first float in the Rose Parade, and that was King Kong. And they said, come on, Gloria, get in the hand and see what it feels like to raise up. That went up over 50 feet high, and there was no belts to put on, so I was hanging onto the thumbs. And it was quite a ride up there, but it was phenomenal. Quite an experience. And then my last Grand Marshal for the Rose Parade was John Glenn. And because I was assistant to the executive director, once the Grand Marshals were announced, I got to take them on the tour, them and their family, of the Wrigley Mansion. And John Glenn, while we're standing there, that's the staff, and he looks down at me and he says, Gloria, when's your birthday? I said, July 19th. He says, mine's the 18th. We exchanged birthday cards for years. And before John Glenn's big ride down the Rose Parade, there's always, on the 30th of December, there's a black tie event for the Tournament of Roses. And they had their two grandsons with them. And they said, would you be able to take care of our grandsons? And I said, you betcha. So I did at the old Huntington Hotel. I sat on the floor with them and had dinner with the little boys. And John wrote me the wonderful, wonderful letter there that you can see thanking me. It was just incredible to get that letter from John Glenn. What
Very
amazing,
cool.
what amazing experience. And then
Now, Gloria, while you were all tangled up with the Rose Parade, you were also tangled up with some other things. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
yes, I worked as a volunteer at the Huntington Memorial Hospital there in Pasadena for, oh my gosh, it seemed like it was 8 or 9 years. And one of the young ladies who helped me, she said, Gloria, they need somebody desperately in the neonatal department. I said, what's that? And she explained to me the babies are born from drug-related moms. They're wards of the court. And I said, absolutely. I did that 2 nights a week. And to sit there, when I got in there, I had to scrub my hands and take my jewelry off, except I see the ring on my finger there. And the nurses would come and take the babies out and hand them to me. And I'd sit there and I would kind of pet their faces and say, where will you be 10, 20, 50 years from now? And the Pasadena Star News came out and took that picture of me. I had no clue they were going to do that, and wrote the article. That was just an amazing experience to help those nurses with those babies. And then
So you're working in the Rose Parade 2 or 3 nights a week. You're at the hospital.
Yep.
And what else is going on in your life?
On that Twilight Club book there, in 1984, one of the tournament members asked if I would please consider doing the corresponding secretary position that was open for the Twilight Club. And that club was for very high-end people in that worked in Pasadena. And it was at the Annandale Golf Club. And that was my job. Once I said, sure, I'll do that. It was only once a month for, let's see, started in October, November, and then January through May. And I had the summer off and Christmas off. And I did all the correspondence with them. And I ordered the menus, special menus for them. And they gave me that honor when I retired after 31 years of being the corresponding secretary for them.
Gloria,
And that
what is wrong with you? My God, you had more things going on. So now let's move to Big Bear. You came to Big Bear full-time when?
In 2000, when I turned 65, I retired. And at that time, I was working at Monte Vista Grove Homes. It's a retirement home for Presbyterian ministers and missionaries. And I was doing major fundraisers for them. And I decided I'm 65, it's my turn. And I moved up to Big Bear full-time in 2000.
And of course, you just put your feet up and watch TV all day.
No. I got introduced to Tom Core, like I mentioned, and he got me very involved with the Historical Society. I didn't know any history of Big Bear till I moved up here full-time. Incredible.
Just a snapshot of Tom Core. Most people probably know him, but give us just a quickie on who Tom Core was. And
he was our historian here in Big Bear, and he's the one that developed that mobile home park. And back when my husband and I bought it in 81, there were only 2 in Southern California where you owned your own property. Ours is one of them. There's 250 homes, mobile homes, in that mobile home park. And we all share the same water bill. Some are families of 5, some single like me, and some that are only up there in the summertime to keep cool. And the highest bill in September is like $44.
Wow, what a deal.
It's just incredible. And there's a swimming pool, a jacuzzi, a workout room, and it's an amazing community. And Tom Core, being the historian for Big Bear, he wrote a weekly column in the Grizzly, Barely Remembered, and he did it every week for as long as he was alive until he passed away in 2006.
And so you've been involved with that whole historical thing for a long time. Tell us about that.
Since 2001, yep. And just as a volunteer, and that's what that whole museum runs on, is volunteers. And I was very blessed to be president of the Historical Society for 4 years. And I do publicity, I do fundraisers for the museum, and we had a big major one this last Friday night at Wyatt's celebrating the Cowboy Day. And there were so many people there, and we had things silent auction, things that people could buy from our gift store, and we raised $1,304. That was just incredible.
Did
This
you do the
community.
electric slide, Gloria?
I sure did, and that was Monica's idea, that people paid Gloria to do the electric slide. And two little girls, about 4 or 5 years old, each came up and gave me a dollar bill, and they danced. That was so cute. But it was just amazing on the people that got up and did that. But there was no kissing, so we weren't afraid of getting sick.
Now, is the museum open now with the virus? What's going on?
No, we could not open, not just because of COVID, but because the airport has taken over our parking lot that we've had since 1982. But they're blessing us that the volunteers can park there, just not the the people that come to visit us. So we had to get a whole new parking lot put in, thanks to Ken Willis, doing Willis construction. It's just incredible. And so the main entrance can no longer be where it's been since 1982. We had to move the main entrance down to the west of the museum grounds. And that's the Caddy Shack, because that used to be where the museum, it used to be a golf course. So they've got the Caddy Shack there. It's real little. So we have to move everything around, all the display cases. And it's been a big job. So we can't open because of the parking lot and the COVID. So hopefully 2021.
So a good bit of your life has been involved with this whole historical thing, the museum, but also keeping the history of Big Bear alive.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the other involvements that I got into was CATS, our Community Arts Theater Society, and that's how I met Tori and a lot of other wonderful, wonderful people from Big Bear, Beth, and oh my gosh, I could go on forever naming names.
Were you on the stage? Were you behind the scenes? Or both?
I was on the stage only doing paint work on the sets. And then our seamstress came out and says, does anybody know how to sew? And I said, well, I made both my daughter's prom gowns and the wedding gown. She said, put down the paintbrush and get back here. So I went back and I helped sew costumes with Priscilla Anderson. And then Sarge needed somebody to do props, stage right and stage left. And that's what I love doing. And one time she said, I want you to be in Sound of Music. I said, what? And she said, no, I want you to be one of the nuns. I said, because I've been divorced for 25 years and have had none. And she laughed. So I was on the stage just for that production. It was an honor, but I said, never again. I got to sing with Mother Teresa, Joan Klein.
So most of your time with CATS was spent behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Getting ads for the programs and helping. But the people I've met over the years, Phil, has been phenomenal.
Gloria, some of you may know the Ed Trust started a program called, it really was to bring volunteers into the classroom, and surprise, surprise, Gloria was one of the first volunteers. They're called trusted volunteers. Tell us a little bit about that experience, would you please?
Oh, that was phenomenal, Phil, because Baldwin Elementary, which is not that far from where I live, and I did it for 7 years for the kindergarten class. Mrs. Cherney, oh my gosh, it was a tremendous honor helping those kindergartners. It's a blessing to be able to help where needed, and those kids needed it at the time. And I started, when I would bend over to help them with their paperwork, my right eye started leaking a little bit, and what's happening? And I found out that I had an eye stroke and my eye was not that good a vision anymore. So that's when I had to retire after 7 years, but what an honor to help them.
Yeah, we used to joke when we talk about this trusted volunteer program, we'd always talk about Gloria and have her share, because she should have been paying us. She was having way too much fun as a tutor and working in that class. It was really great. So what else have you poked around with, Gloria? Anything else? The historical thing we've talked about, keeping history alive, the school thing. I know there's some other things.
I was with the International Arts group up here, and oh my gosh, the film festival with Ty Warren. Oh, what a great experience that was, organizing people to help out. It's just an amazing experience to help volunteer. And like I tell people, and you've heard this from me, Phil, I'm a terrible Einstein, but a great Mother Teresa. I love helping. And they say, why do you do so much? I said, there'll come a time when I can't. I don't know about tomorrow. I love helping. I want to be busy. My house always waits for me inside.
And someone told me that you had a birthday about a week ago and you turned how many years old?
85 last Sunday.
85. Wow, Gloria, you are simply amazing. Gloria, can you go back and, I mean, it just seems like whenever anything I'm involved with and I need some help, I know I can call Gloria. And if she has the time, she's going to jump in and do the very best she can. Any idea where that came from?
Well, as a little girl growing up in Monterey Park during the war, a lot of my neighbors were working and they'd say, Gloria, can you pick our apricots, our figs, our plums before the birds all get to them because we need to make jam and we sell them during the World War II. So I'd go over and I started helping my neighbors picking fruit off their trees and then picking up their newspaper and putting it on their front porch. And I just loved helping people.
And it wasn't particularly something your parents modeled necessarily?
No, because my mother was a hard worker and so was my father. And we just did what we could to help people.
Well, that's great. Well, let's see. We don't have a lot of people with us. Do either of Tori, do you have any questions, or any of the people that are out there have any questions of Gloria?
Gloria, I do have a question for you. So it sounds like you obviously have volunteered with a lot of people and you've learned a lot. Where or what is the value in volunteering in relationship with doing work for money? Because you've obviously held both, like volunteer positions and then ones that you pay for. So what have you noticed about the difference between the two?
Wow, that's a tough question. Just helping people, like I say, I'm a terrible Einstein, but a great Mother Teresa, and that's just in me. I love helping them, and I don't have to have money to have fun. Yes, it helps pay bills. And I do a lot of critter sitting, and that really helped me financially up here. But now that people can't do any flying because of the COVID-19, I'm not critter sitting right now, but this too shall change, and I just enjoy stay helping when I can.
Cool. Any other questions? You can either wave at me or go to the chat if you have questions.
Can you hear me, Phil?
I can.
This is Julie.
Hi,
And
Julie.
hi, Gloria. I just wanted to say, Gloria, you are a true friggin' miracle. The first I met you, I thought, oh my God, you're lucky you created her for us. We're lucky you created her for us. I just want to say thank you, Gloria, for being who you are and what you've done over the years. And you're an inspiration. Thank you, Gloria.
Well, thank you. And thank you for sending the note about today being John's birthday.
Yeah, oh, that's it.
Those of you who don't know, Julie's husband, John Grandy, who passed away, would have been 93 today if he were still with us. So let's all hold a good thought for John Grandy. Any other questions or thoughts? Or Gloria, is there anything we have left out in your life that you would like to share with people? Or have we pretty well covered it?
I think you pretty well covered it, Phil, unless you have 2 more days.
I'm going to interrupt.
Can I add something again? One year, John and I got to be Gloria's guests at the Rose Parade event. Oh my God, that was just unbelievable. We knew it would be fun, but we didn't know it would be that much fun. Not only did we have great seats to watch the Rose Parade, but the party that they did before. Anyway, thank you again, Gloria.
Oh, Julie, the memories of you and John and me getting to take care of your wonderful little Holly, by golly.
Yeah, little Holly.
Sure. Tori, did you have a thought?
Yeah, there was one more grouping of pictures that I would love Gloria to talk about because I think this is really special. So I'm going to throw it up here. And if you don't mind, Phil, just so we can kind of look at that too. It's really cool.
Yeah, can you tell us about this, Gloria?
That's the Athenaeum. Inside the top picture there is inside the Athenaeum, the main dining room. And when I worked there, Monday through Friday, I would have 55 events, Monday through Friday, and 2 weddings on Saturday. And some meetings would be maybe 10 people, the other could be 50 to 100. And it was phenomenal. And you see the picture of me pointing with Beth Gardner there. That was my office when I worked there. And that was when Beth and Randy came to the Rose Parade, and they took all these fabulous pictures, and I gave them a tour of the Athenaeum there at Caltech. It's just incredible.
This was after the Rose Parade that you went to work here, is that correct? Or during?
Yes. Yep. When I retired in '90, I went to work at the Athenaeum. I mean, yeah, at the Athenaeum at Caltech, as catering director.
Uh-huh.
And you see that picture of Einstein. He did his theory there for 6 months. And above my office upstairs is a hotel, and one of the rooms is the Einstein room, and that's where he did it for his theory. It was at Caltech. It was amazing, and I got to take him on a tour there.
It seems to me you used the word retirement, and I don't think you do that very well, do you, Gloria? Well, Gloria, as I said at the outset, this whole Let Me Introduce You is to bring some interesting and unique people in our community, and certainly you're one of those, and we thank you for sharing your life with us and for all the many hundreds, probably thousands of hours that you have given to this community. And I guess that's all we can say is thanks and keep going, okay?
Well, it's a pleasure to live here and to volunteer as much as I possibly can.
Cool.
Hi, Margot.
Hi. Sorry, I was kind of in and out of
You're
I was
always kind of in and out, Margot.
time shifting.
Do you have a thought or a question for Gloria?
No, I just wanted to be here to support her and say thank you for everything you've done and
Oh, Margot.
in the Valley, and you're just amazing. I want to be Gloria when I grow up.
I think we all do. Gloria, thank you very much. Thank you for all the people that are here. Remember, this has been recorded, so if you have some friends that couldn't be with us tonight, it'll be on YouTube in the next day or so, and you can watch that. We're kind of moving along slowly with this program. When we get somebody that we think is special, Tori will put it out and advertise it. We're not doing it every week now, but there'll be some other people coming along as we move along. So Gloria, thank you again for being with us tonight and for all the work you've done in ours. And thanks for those of you that are with us. Hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Well, this is a
Good night,
tremendous
all.
honor. Thank you so much, Phil and Tori, for all what you've done to put this together. Thank you. Thank
Of
you.
You're very
course.
welcome.
My pleasure.
Thank you guys.
You bet. Good
I
night,
love
all.
these. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.